Okay, so welcome to this session. I'm delighted to introduce ACTEGA Metal Print and Mr. Dario Urbanati, who's the CMO of ACTEGA Metal Print, who are bringing to market a superb new product called EcoLeaf. The session is very much around EcoLeaf, a new revolution in packaging. And I think before COVID, sustainability was growing in its importance, but actually throughout the course of the last year, I think it's become even more important. So I expect this product to gain a lot of attention and a lot of success. So over to you really, Dario. Take us through this session, and if we have enough time, we'll have a little chat at the end about the product. So over to you.
Thanks a lot, Marcus. Delighted to be here. Thanks a lot for having us and for organizing again another amazing event. Yeah, we will talk today about EcoLeaf. My name is Dario Urbanati. As you said, I'm responsible for sales and marketing at ACTEGA Metal Print, and I just walk you through technology presentation about this wonderful new technology, and let's chat here and after. So let me share the screen. I trust you can see that now.
Yes, we can.
So EcoLeaf, we run EcoLeaf under the title, a new category of metalization. And before I walk you through the technology, let's have a brief look into who we are, where we come from, what we are doing. And give you a bit of framework and an environment about where EcoLeaf is embedded as technology and ACTEGA Metal Print as a company. We are part of the very successful German chemical group Altana. Altana has 4 divisions: BYK, Eckart, Elantas, and ACTEGA. We are part of the latter one, ACTEGA, which is very well known in the printing industry. ACTEGA is the biggest producer of coating, sealants, and varnishes in the printing industry. Elantas is active in electronic supplies. Eckart is very well known in the printing environment for producing pigments, coatings, and functional appliances for graphic arts. And BYK is producing mainly additives, also for industrial applications. Altana has a goal to be CO2 neutral by 2025. We made major steps forward in the last few years. One of them in 2020 last year, where we did a conversion to green electricity, having significant impact on our sustainability footprint. And we do have quite a number of projects ongoing to further reduce and to reach our goal of CO2 neutrality by 2025. So we are very much committed to sustainability as a group. As I said beforehand, ACTEGA, where is the division of Altana, where we are part of with ACTEGA Metal Print with a separate legal entity. ACTEGA has a leading position for specialty inks, coatings, adhesives, and sealing compounds. We do serve the global packaging market for labels, printing, and medical industry. And we are embedded in a company of, in total, 11 ACTEGA legal entities and companies acting globally. ACTEGA Metal Print has a purpose-built building in Lehrte, close to Hanover. We employ about 50 employees, including experts from other Altana divisions and some external specialists. And we work with a global network of R&D specialists and production partners. We also built up already a small service organization to accommodate the needs of our initial customers, which we talk about in a few minutes from now. Top right, you see the management team, and the center, Jan-Franz Allerkamp, our CEO. The left side, Harald Jasper, our COO, and on the right side, myself. So let's have a quick look into the value of embellishments. And that's a picture I found on social media, illustrating the power of a sticker. Left side of the candle for $1, right side of the candle for $100. Maybe that's a bit exaggerated, but at the end of the day, that's exactly what we talk about. We talk about embellishment. We talk about making products beautiful, luxurious with the help of packaging and embellishment, and providing value to the consumer, to the producer, and to the industry. So one of the most important method of embellishment is metallization, of course. We all know in the industry how important metallization is and what kind of technologies are available today. Unfortunately, metallization today might be time-consuming, costly, and complicated, and even worse, it leads to the picture like you see here right now on this slide, tons of waste, literally a lot of waste, and that's what we want to get rid of, and that's why we are working in the development of EcoLeaf, which we call zero waste metallization, on the way to a breakthrough. So from a high level, what means EcoLeaf? What is that? EcoLeaf is a new category of metallization for graphic arts. We use it today to embellish labels. In the future, we also will use it to embellish folding cartons, flexible packaging, and other printed products. And we do only use the precise amount of metal which is required to embellish the desired surface of the printed product. And thereof, we provide an alternative to hot and cold foil. So let us quickly look into the process and how that works. Step number 1 is a printing of a trigger image. From a procedure perspective, the trigger image could be compared to a cold foil glue. So what you do is you print the desired image or shape on top of the substrate with the trigger image, defining the form and shape of your later metallized surface. In the second step, you do the UV curing of the trigger image. So obviously the trigger image is a UV curable or UV based fluid, which can be applied in flexo, rotary screen, flat bed screen, and we're also working on a digital inkjet solution, which we're very proud of that it works already very good. So trigger image applied first, UV curing immediately here and after. In the next step, you run through a so-called metallization unit. And the metallization unit consists of a donor roller in the middle. That's the big drum you can see in the center of that unit. The drum, the donor roller, is surrounded by applicators applying a mono layer of pigments on top of the surface of the donor, which are applied onto the trigger image. So on the top right, you see a picture of an R&D installation we have at our competence center in Lehrte. Meanwhile, we also made some steps forward in design. On the lower right side, you see an illustration how that final product will look like. In the subsequent step, you may overprint EcoLeaf, the metallization surface, for example, flexo, screen printing, inkjet, offset, or other printing technologies of your desire. EcoLeaf has very good overprinting properties, much better than comparable metallization technologies in the market. By overprinting, you can achieve amazing metallization effects like gold effects or colored metallized effects, and that all can be processed in line. So in the cross view, the process or the product looks like follows. Substrate at the very lower end, then we have a trigger image on top, then we have an EcoLeaf metallization layer on top, and we have an image print, a gold layer, an overprint, varnish, etc. on top. This process also works the other way around, meaning you could have the substrate first, then you could have the image print as the next layer, then a trigger image, then a metallization layer, and if necessary on top, a gold or an overprint varnish layer. So where are the big differences between metallization solutions existing in the market today and EcoLeaf? First of all, we do place metal pigments only where they're needed and only in the required amount. And that leads to a drastic improved sustainability balance because we do not have polyester foil to be shipped around the globe. There's massive reduction in logistic efforts. We only need to have a very small amount of metal which we apply on top of the metallized surface, respectively on top of the trigger image. We do have a flexible machine integration. We get rid of hot and cold foil waste because we see EcoLeaf as an alternative to hot and cold foil. Obviously, if you do not have a hot or a cold foil reel, you don't need to stop the machine at the end of the reel. And we all know what it means if you need to stop a machine because you need to change a hot or cold foil reel. You lose time, production time, machine time. You need to reset eventually the machine into register, and it's not a very desirable and beneficial process to restart the machine in the middle of a production job. So it gives you massive improvements in sustainability and also cost reduction potentials. From an application perspective, you need to imagine that we do replicate the trigger image one-to-one with fine pigments. So provided you have the technology on hand to produce or to apply a very fine, high-resolution trigger image, for example, with high-resolution flexo or a good inkjet technology, you are able to metallize with very fine details and very high resolution. That's truly a very big advantage, for example, over a cold foil technology, where we clearly see some limitations if it comes to finer lines. We do have the possibilities to apply tactile effects on filmic substrates or on substrates which you cannot emboss by applying a trigger image with a rotary screen or flatbed screen. For example, in the height of 20 microns, you put on top a metallization layer and you have amazing sparkling tactile effects possible to be applied on your printed products. We do have new possibilities for differentiation by colorizing the trigger image. If you produce EcoLeaf embellished materials with a conventional trigger image, you can colorize the trigger image and you put the metallization layer on top and you can change the shade of the metallization, or you can overprint the metallization surface with any possible printing technology. We do see very good possibilities for backside printing on transparent substrates without gravure. You know that gravure is also not the most desired printing technology in the market today, especially if you have larger scale solvent-based gravure production jobs. So that would work like follows. You have the transparent substrate. You look through from the backside to the transparent trigger image on the backside layer of the metallization surface, giving you amazing results. We do have the possibility to replace hot foil and the costly tooling of hot foil, and by applying large area metallization, which you cannot do with hot foil, with certain hot foil equipment, because you have limited printing pressure. You also have some ways forward in there. So to keep the long story short, flexo trigger image is very desirable and beneficial for fine metallization and high resolution. Rotary or flatbed screen trigger image is very good for tactile effects, also on filmic or paper substrates. And inkjet trigger image obviously is very desirable for digital integration into the digital workflow of a printing company, or seamless and variable metalization. Some pictures of samples we made in the last 2 years. On the lower left side, one of the first tests we made with gold overprint. I will show you later some more. We did produce several different gold layers and shades. Top right, some very nice samples and bottle decorations, and as well top left. Sustainability, a big topic today. Obviously, we want to go away from cold and hot foil waste and replace the vast amount of polyester foil shipped around the globe for metallization with a much smaller quantity of pigments we need to ship around. So we only need the pigments, we only apply the pigments where we need them. Massive reduction in logistic requirements, or drastic reduction of plastic production, usage, disposal, or recycling needs, and that really gives you a very big advantage. So we did, with the help of an external institute, a qualified estimation, and meanwhile we also a little bit beyond the qualified estimation, and the numbers show that we have the possibility of a more than 50% CO2 footprint reduction with EcoLeaf compared to foil technologies. Of course, that's depending on whether you compare with hot foil and cold foil. It depends on the metallization area. It depends on the eventual recycling systems in place. It depends on the tooling used, etc. But you see the magnitude of possible sustainability advantages with EcoLeaf. We're talking about the significant numbers, and that's really a way forward in improving the sustainability in the value chain of a product decoration. We also work towards food regulation, where we still have a bit homework to do, but we expect this to happen and certified by this year or latest by next year. So let's talk quickly about the process and integration. I show you here a picture of an ABG Digicon Series 3. ABG, as we did announce to the press, is the first distributor of the EcoLeaf technology. That's why I show you here the cross view of a Digicon Series 3. And that's a machine running from left to right. Unwind first. And in this sample configuration, we have a flexor trigger image for varnish, for example, if you produce with HP on the first station. Second station, you have a flat bed screen for a trigger image up to 40 microns. We tested a trigger image for tactile effects up to 40 microns, so we can confirm that works. Eventually, it's even possible to go higher, but maybe you also need to put some additional homework and some testing in there. On the next station, we have an EcoLeaf metallization unit for metallizing the trigger image, which you applied the previous station, or a flexo trigger image on the first station. And on the last station, we see a flexo station for a color overprint, for example, to produce gold or an overprint varnish. We did a number of integration on the ABG Digicon Series 3 in the market already. We currently have a bit more than one handful beta machines in place. We also did integration into narrow web inline presses already. For example, on a Gallows RCS, we have an integration on a Neil Petro and a Mark Andy. Few words about substrates. It is absolutely clear that with this new technology, you also need to qualify substrates and the whole printing ecosystem around EcoLeaf. We did qualify currently over 60 substrate in the circulation with this technology, and continue with high speed to qualify further because we want to allow maximum flexibility with this technology for the printer. On this slide, I show you a beer label, which is essentially a result from the beta learning process. We did that beer with the idea to have an EcoLeaf beer at Drupa. Unfortunately, Drupa didn't happen, so we used it to ship it to some partners and friends in the industry as Christmas gifts, which gave us very good feedback about the quality of metallization. Some technical details, substrate, we had a relationship, or we have a relationship with SAPI, which helped us to test on their label car substrate. We did the production with 75 meters per minute at the Kolbe Coloco in Germany on their Gallus RCS. The EcoLeaf trigger image is a screen printing trigger image, allowing a small haptic of 14 microns. And we applied an overprint varnish from ACTEGA Schmidriner, a Vesco LM UV varnish. I mentioned it beforehand already. We, of course, do several tests continuously in our competence center close to Hanover, playing with different ways of overprinting and different pigments of overprinting EcoLeaf. And here on the right side, you see some gold shades which we printed, or color shades which we printed in the last few months. As you can imagine and see, there are limitless possibilities with this technology. We feel that we did not, we only scratched the surface with overprinting possibilities which we are investigating. I think there is so much more possible with this technology than we tried. Luckily, we have a very good relationship with our beta customers helping us in that process, and we are very excited about the forthcoming process with the development and commercialization of EcoLeaf. Let's talk a bit about money and costs. We did extensive academic work in comparing the total cost of ownership and cost impact in the value chain with EcoLeaf compared to foil-based metallization technologies. And of course, there is not one single truth in the market if it comes to money, because every company is different. And we figured out that with EcoLeaf, you have a cost saving potential of 20 to 50% compared to foil-based technologies, depending on whether you compare with hot foil or cold foil, depending on the foil purchasing volume and the foil price of an individual company, depending on whether the company has installed foil-saving devices, depending on the tool used, depending on the metallization area, depending on the speed, also depending on the skills of the operators in setting up a foil technology, and so forth. It is absolutely clear that it's for us not possible to put one single percentage out in the market and tell everyone that you will save this amount of money with EcoLeaf compared to the foil. So we offer to our prospects and to interested parties that we run through an individual total cost of ownership calculation for that company, and calculate the cost saving potential on an individual level. But again, 20 to 50% cost saving potential, we find that for a new technology at the beginning of the learning curve, at the start of commercialization, with very good long-term outlook, I think that's, for this very moment, that's a good achievement already. So, having said something about commercialization already, where do we stand with this technology? We are currently in a beta program with 6 installations in the European Union. We foresee that this beta program will be concluded by somewhere end of spring this year. Here and after, we will need some time to adopt beta learnings into the final product. So that's the one other R&D round and the one other thought and learning we need to implement. We foresee a commercial availability in the European Union by Q3 2021, and a commercial availability in the US by beginning 2022, maybe beginning Q2 of 2022. We do have a handful of machines available for this year to be installed on a commercial base. We do talk to customers and interested parties, especially early adopters, at this very moment already. We do already accept reservations for this technology to be installed in the current calendar year. But we also will have a strong exchange with those interested parties and run a qualification process in both directions. Customers need to qualify EcoLeaf for their applications, and we need to qualify the customers for our technology. So that's a process where we are ongoing. But again, we are very excited to have the opportunity to sell a few handful of machines in the current year and start the commercialization process by Q3 2021. So please stay in touch with us. Please do not hesitate to get in touch with me or anybody from our team. You can write us via our microsite actega-metal-print.com or on the LinkedIn channels. You can subscribe for a newsletter. Just talk to us if you have questions. Get in touch with us, and let's see what we can do for each other. Thank you very much for your time, for listening, and I'd like to give back to Markus.
Okay. Thanks so much, Dario. That's excellent. Really quite a visionary product, very innovative. And it's been developed, I think you explained to me earlier, this has been developed over a number of, well, since 2016, is that right? The first idea came?
The first time it was introduced to the market was at Drupa 2016 by Benny Lander. The whole technology was developed in Israel, or the vision for the technology was developed in Israel. 2017, Altana invested into that technology and started an industrialization process in Germany. We founded ACTEGA Metal Print GmbH as a legal entity to run this process, and here we are. A bit more than 2 years later, we are ready to go to the market. It's a revolutionary, a visionary technology. It gives you a huge amount of advantages. It's in a certain way also disruptive, but it's also a technology at the beginning of the learning curve. I mean, every new printing technology which was introduced at a certain level. Also, we also consider this is not the final product which we will have in the forthcoming years. It's an exciting journey to be part of.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there are some advantages in terms of the being early, aren't there? In terms of a new idea such as this, I get the impression that the end users, the people that are actually going to be interested in the effects that it can produce and so on, are the FMCG brands, and by the looks of it, kind of luxurious high-end products. Are you getting interest from there as well? Are people starting to see that actually, oh wow, you can, because they're committed as brands to sustainability, aren't they, as well? That's a key driver. It has to be. Yeah.
Look, the value proposition of EcoLeaf as a technology, it starts with sustainability, and sustainability is, it's the key driver today in the industry. But you and me, we know that sustainability stops at the wallet. So you cannot bring out a new technology which is double the price, but sustainable. It will just not hit the market. So value proposition number 2, or element number 2 is pricing, is TCO. And with this technology, you do have a significant sustainability impact, but you also have cost saving potential. And I think that's a very good forward with this technology.
Yeah, and I think the name of the product, EcoLeaf, applies to both the planet and to efficiency as well, isn't it? Yes. So it's kind of on that. With if someone wants to, you've given your details there. If someone, what kind of person or what kind of business are you looking to work with in terms of the early adopters? Are they kind of companies like ABG? What kind of people are they? Are they machine operators, or are they converters, or?
Look, if you have a new technology, and I mentioned it a bit in between of the slides, there is always a learning curve going through, and we know the printing environment is anything else but simple. It's complicated. You need to combine ink systems, substrates, primers, overprint varnishes, applications. You have a huge amount of regulations, and we need to go with this technology through a learning curve in the upcoming year. First of all, to find the sweet spot for the technology today, but also to accommodate the needs of our customers in terms of support, service with this technology in order to position it at the right point. We have identified quite a number of markets where we do see the EcoLeaf positioned very well. Cosmetics is one of them. Fast-moving consumer goods is also one of the categories which we're looking in. Beverages is one. Spirits is we see many possibilities in spirits and so forth. So wherever you have the need or the possibility to do embellishment, we definitely will look into with this technology. But we need to have the exchange with the customer and the printer, right, in order to learn from each other with this technology. We also learn from the printers and find the right way forward.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, what you're saying there is you really want to work together, collaborate, solve the right problems, and create the value that's right for each individual customer, which is the best way forward. Because, like you say, you're going to be learning through the process, both you and the user. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, fantastic idea, great product, and really congratulations on that. There's some fantastic takeaway figures there. 50% CO2 reduction versus foil is pretty outstanding. So yeah, good luck with that, and with the Q3 launch, and looking forward to getting updates later in the year in terms of the success of the product. So thanks again for being part of Future Print, Dario, and ACTEGA Metal Print and EcoLeaf, and look forward to seeing you later on in the event, hopefully at our networking and so on. Okay.
Thank you very much, Marcus.